All right, welcome back to the People's Congress. I am Stephen Walker, and we have our Congress in session. We're excited to be coming back to you with information that you can use, information that you need for the middle class. We call it Mexit, for the middle class to exit out of ordinary old thinking into the new thinking you need to get your family to where you need to go. All right, look, so we got all of our Congress people here, congressmen and women. We want you guys to do introductions. Please introduce yourself. Tell people the name of your company, and feel free to change your names over after that to your website if you have one. We're going first to Adrian in Philadelphia.
Hey world, this is Misunderstood Adrian, the founder and CEO of IMA Industry. We are creating oneness for others to be understood. Come on now. I am so excited to be here this evening. And I also want to tell you, I have a book called Surviving Tough Times. On your march, get set, go. Good evening, good evening, good evening.
All right. Now, I just want to tell everybody that, look, Philadelphia, your congresswoman loved you to pieces. Let me tell you why. Because she had a little mouth surgery. So she acting kind of crazy. It's because that medicine has not worn off yet. All right. So let's go to Jerome. Rome in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes, this is Jerome, a.k.a. Rome, Baltimore zone, with Let's Think, Change, Grow. And at Let's Think, Change, Grow, that's what we do, and we help you to maximize your greatness. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
All right. Let's go to Richmond, Virginia with Vicky.
Hey, everybody. I'm Vicky Ryan. Welcome to tonight's show. I'm the executive director of Podium RVA. We do writing, communication, leadership programs for youth ages 10 through 19. All across Richmond, getting ready to gear up for our summer programs in June. Thanks so much for being here.
All right. Marquis Washington, Indianapolis.
I am Marquis Washington. I'm the marketing director for an upstart company called DMW Enterprise LLC. It produces the good stuff sauce. If you haven't heard of it, don't worry, you will. It's the best sauce ever created. At least that's what my son says. Who is the creator of it? He's 16, young entrepreneur, budding, coming up. When you taste the sauce, you're going to be all up in here with it. That's called the good stuff, baby.
All right. We go to Kevin in Georgia.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Vaughan out of Kennesaw, Georgia, near the ATL in Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so excited. We're so excited. We put the bet on you. We're betting on you. What's the bet? The bet is business. We handle business, education, training, and technology to meet your needs for both personal and business expansion. And thank you so much for the time today.
All right. Kevin is the smartest man on the show. All right. And we go to the Maxine Phillips McCoy, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hello. The levelist woman, Maxine Phillips McCoy. I'm a certified coach. We do one-on-one coaching. I am the CEO and owner of Level Less, and that's helping you to advocate, to know your worth, and to succeed according to your own terms. So be sure to discover your natural abilities, design a strategy to use them, and develop yourself all the time.
All right, we go to the queen herself, Yemotelli.
Hi, this is Yemotelli Kwashi, recent transplant to Long Island, New York. Don't have a business yet, but I am aspiring to be a business owner and pursuing a career in social advocacy.
All right, she is everybody's favorite millennial. All right, let's go. All right, Tanya Harper in West Virginia.
Hello, my name is Tanya Harper. I am one of the owners of A Gap Your Hands Outreach. We assist the community with a variety of programs, and we also connect with other programs and assistance in the region to connect people with what they might need as far as resources and so forth.
All right.
Good evening, everybody.
And look, I just want to let you guys know that Tanya is fighting Russia all by herself. So if her video gets glitchy, it's because she's fighting in cyberspace. And my name again is Stephen Walker. I am the head of the People's Congress. My company is Manifest Media. I am the CEO and founder. We are a brand marketing and advertising firm. We also do business coaching. And you can go to our website at mypurposemypower.com. All right, tonight's lead off story comes from Baltimore with Romy Rome. What happens with people with money in the bank? What did they do with that, Romy Rome?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Folks, we just want to reach out to you with a public service announcement that comes from ATS itself. And one of the things that our CEO leader always tells us is we don't want to be going from paycheck to paycheck. We want to always be able to put something aside and put something aside. And I ran into an article just recently from the Penny Hoarder staff that says that if you have at least $1,000 in your checking account, there are 6 moves that you should be considering. There should be 6 moves that you should be looking at. And the first one is there's an upstart company out there called Aspirations. And the reason why they're important is they issue a debit card. Now, I have a couple of debit cards. I have a couple of credit cards. They give me back 2%, 3%. Some of them mean 5%. They give you rebates on sales. This company gives a 10% rebate on the use of this card. And it's called Aspirations. Folks, 10% is a lot of money. I was at Sam's Club the other day, and the lady said, "Mr. Red, you got a little bit of extra money that's on your rebate, on your cash back. Would you like it?" I said, "Yes." Folks, it was $138. Do you know I skipped out of Sam's Club? I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. So Aspirations, folks. The next investment is in real estate. Why is real estate important, folks? Because it's a income producing asset. So when you use it, it will give you an opportunity from people who are renting to give you back that money, or when you're flipping. So consider real estate also, and you don't have to buy the whole thing yourself. You can partner with others and get involved in real estate. Hey, the other one is car insurance. I know this one personally because I drive a car. A lot of times when you're dealing with car insurance companies out there, all they want to do is sell you the high end, have you buying things that you don't need. There's a company out there called Smart Financial where you can pay as little as $22 a month for car insurance versus the normal $700 that some people out there are paying. Another way is if reducing your credit score. There's an agency out there called Credit CSAM, SESAME, and they can help you get your credit score down, which can increase your ability to borrow money and go out there and do some other things. So that's another way. A lot of times we're overpaying. This is the 5th one. We're overpaying for items that we don't have to. There's a free service out there that will bring up companies like Target and Kmart and those like that to let you know which one has the cheapest brand. So guess what? You don't have to spend all that money. You can get the cheapest price. And last but not least, there's a company out there called Stash, STASH. And what you can do is you can invest as little as $5 in Amazon, Google, and other companies. And you know these are billion-dollar companies. So those are the 6 that if you've got at least $1,000, you should be considering putting that money out there to get a return on your investment. Thank you, Stephen, for the opportunity to share that with our folks here and out there watching us.
Absolutely. Good job. Well, that's news you can use right there. You got $1,000 in your bank. Those are 6 things that you can do. And we want to hear from you. If you got some ideas of other things that can be done, let us know. Post it. Send us emails. Let us know. We're going to actually put some of this in our show notes as well so that you can get that information even after the show. All right, so let's talk about this a little bit. $1,000 in the bank.
You can send it to my email at, I'm sorry.
Girl, don't make me take you off the show early. Hold up. All right, so let's talk about it a little bit. $1,000 in the bank. Anybody? Let's go to Maxine. Maxine, what's your goals?
Well, what I wanted him to do was recap, to summarize, because he gave 6 things. And as I listen, I'm taking notes because I want to take advantage of this. I'm not sure about you all, but that's the whole purpose of us giving this valuable information. So if I can recap, I think you said the first one, aspirations. The second one, real estate. Then you said car insurance. You said credit, CSAM. The fifth one, I wasn't for sure what you were saying.
What's the fifth one?
And the fifth one is we purchase items like from Sam's Club, from Target, Kmart, places like that, and we just go by without comparing. And there's services out there that will tell you which one is the cheapest. So instead of going there paying for it, you can go through one of the services and they'll tell you this one's selling it the cheapest. So it'll save you money and, of course, put more money in your pocket. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm assuming that they did not give a name of that service.
You said free service. So, but there was a link there and I didn't click on it. So,
okay. And then the last one you said it was stash and invest $5.
STASH. Stash.
Good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that the viewers understood those 6 as you were, I'm always about summarizing.
Come on now.
Kevin always come back and give us a summary, but I thought, let me catch these so that I can take advantage of it. As a middle class person, right? Mm-hmm. We need to save our money. We need to be good stewards over our money. And this is a way to do that.
Come on, Maxine. Keep us straight. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Anybody else have a thought on the $1,000 in the bank? What you do with it? I'm not going to ask Adrian because I don't want to. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah. Real quick, I wanted to just share how important it is. What drones information is that the fact that we're getting this type of information and we must act on it based on what your needs are. So here at the ATS and Exit, we're just excited about what is available to us that we can take advantage of. And what I'm excited about the most, guys, is the fact that it's in one place. And you don't have to go 5 or 6 different places to get it. So it's so important to take advantage of the opportunity that we have here for you, because it'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of money in addition to that. Thank you so much, Jerome. Powerful information, bro.
Well, that's what we do here at ATS and the Mexic. The People's Congress, what we do is we dig the stories out that will help your family, help you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. Let's go to Marquis in Indianapolis, where it's snowing right now.
Well, I basically wanted to add to that. And what I like to add is as far as the money saving part of it, before you go to any type of like department store to like buy furniture or anything like that, you really should consider checking out the local liquidation sites.
Oh.
I mean, with everything, because I mean, the same toilet that you might have at Home Depot, $100, $200, $300, you could find at a liquidator for like $40. And I mean, I've seen windows literally at half the price. Like I said, toilets, vanities, half the price of what you would pay retail. Even treadmills. I mean, for those of y'all who can do treadmills, I can't do it because my legs are a little lopsided. I'm a little short, stubby legs, but we don't want to talk about it.
Well, thank you for your military service.
But when you want to purchase things, check out the liquidation sites. I think you should do it first, and then you can do the couponing, comparative shopping. You cannot lose.
That's good. All right. Thank you, Marquis. All right. Who's next? Who has something they want to share with the people? Let's empower the people in the middle class. If you had $1,000 in your pocket, Tanya, what would you do with that?
Well, I would try to maximize it and leverage. That's why I like the article that Vaughan read about it, and just the different. I really like that first one about he didn't even know he had $138 and how he can take that and use that for something else. And it's all about saving. My sister I know was teaching me how to do the whole couponing, and like Mr. Marquis was saying about looking at the liquidation stores for, always trying to find it for the same thing, but a cheaper price. So you can take that money and use it somewhere else. So, that's what it's about. That's what, that's why we're here, to share the information. I was taking notes too, so I can take it back to my sister because she likes this kind of stuff too. So I was just excited when I heard the article. I was like, oh yes, this is right up my alley right here. Let me write this stuff down so I can
All
share
right.
it with my sister. So, I just, I will take it and then save, maximize it, do what I got to do, leverage, try to use it, save, and but also use it in a cautious way, not trying to go and spend it all up, but save and then use it to I know what I'm trying to say.
Generate money.
Generate money. Yes.
That's what it's about.
Yes.
Well, look, middle class, look, we are your Congress men and women representing you in the states where we're at. And look, we are taking notes ourselves. So we want you to do the exact same thing. Take notes and get informed and empowered so that you and your family can come out better than you were before you watch this show. All right. So we're going to jump ahead to Facebook. I'm sorry. Everybody hold your pearls. Adrian has something she wants to say.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay. All right. Unmute. Oh, that medicine is kicking in. Get the mute. Mute is hit that button. No, not the one. There we go.
You know what? You must be playing with the board. It's not me, y'all. What I was going to say when it comes down to just being able to have the $1,000. One, I thank you, Rome, because right now the government is giving us all this money. Remember, they keep dumping thousands and thousands of dollars in people's accounts, and people are so excited just to have over $500 in their account. So to even hear that you don't want me to go spend any of this money, you mean you don't even want me to go pay a bill with this money? Because nothing on there really said anything about going and taking care of your old stuff, like things that are already behind. Like there's another way to handle that. And I just thought that that would be a good point right there to say that, because you could always send me some money, because, if you got extra money, I'm a good investment. I would say you almost just go and send it in and we talk about it later. Right. Oh.
No, okay.
Well, if you don't say it, then nobody would, she would say, oh, I didn't know. She said it, so I sent it. So
no, as long as you don't put your Cash App out there, you're all right. All right. So we're gonna go to Vicky.
So I just had a question that I was hoping some folks might be able to help me out with. So I've never invested in a company before. And so I know that Jerome, you said like look into stash, things like that. And so, and I know Kevin, you've shared, and Stephen, you've shared, a piece of advice or two in previous, things. How do you go about that? Like, there's obviously like a website or something. Like, how do you do that?
Well, here at the ATS, we have a lot of different ways for that to happen. First thing you need to do is get on our ATS 9 a.m. phone call, our Zoom call, because that's where this information gets dropped. You get firsthand information on exactly what to do. The second thing is we actually have courses that teach that. We have courses that will tell you exactly how that process works, how to keep it safe, and how not to lose money. But there are websites that you can go to and learn how to invest in those companies and how to use those apps. There's certain apps that are better than others. So you definitely want to talk like you're doing, asking questions. The middle class, what we want you to do is not just jump in to jump in. Your money, you work hard for your money. And so I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
Don't just follow people. A lot of people doing something. Be cautious. Be cautious, because you want to make sure that they're following the right people, right? So I definitely ask the questions. But yeah, there are apps that will show you how to do it. And if you don't know, don't move. If you do not know what you're doing, do not move, because a lot of things like Bitcoin and a lot of other investment apps, they're nice and shiny. You go jump on their websites. It's like seeing a whole new language.
Yeah.
And you're going to just try to throw money at that. That's not what you want to do. You want to ask somebody that's using it, and then ask them how they're using it. Are they getting results? And then you're safe, because the Bible says that in the midst of counsel, there's safety. So get counsel. All right, Kevin.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, Vicky, that was an excellent question, because one thing I wanted to bring up to you, and this is stuff that I physically have done. The first thing, the money has to be discretionary. You can't want to use it right away. That's the first thing. So it has to be something you're willing to let it work for a while. Okay, that's the first thing. Probably the second thing, and I'm not a broker or CPA, but we have CPAs and brokers in our network, is to get a mutual fund. that's probably the first one I would recommend for a brand new person, is get set up with a mutual fund that also gets involved in the stock market and that you can monitor daily. And right now I have one, and it's literally a savings account. And so literally you can go in, put your $1,000 in, let it grow, take money out. It's like a savings account. You can literally put the money back in, take it out. If you need an emergency, put it back in, let it grow, take it out again. That's how I fund my other projects. So it's pretty cool. So that's probably be a first start, is a mutual fund through a broker, through the proper channels there with somebody. But you can also get that information, I'm sure, from our classes on how to best do that. But that'd be a first start outside of saving money. And like Jerome said, I would start with a nice mutual fund. I think they're around, you start off with $50 you can put in there now, I think. And then you can put the whole 1,000 in there if you want to, and then monitor that. But what's nice about it, you can get to it whenever you need it to as well. It'll just transfer it right back to your bank account. If you wanted to pull out $1,000 or $100, you can do that immediately. That's probably a great way to learn both systems, not only the savings and the earnings, but also the stock market and how it works a little bit as well.
Well, thank you for putting that disclaimer on that statement. Do appreciate that. We always want to protect our congressmen and women from craziness. And like, we are giving our opinions on this show. Unless if it's our profession, we'll tell you. But for the most part, we're giving our opinions. So don't be throwing no rocks. I will delete your comments. All right.
Kevin?
Anybody else have something they want to share?
Yeah. Kevin, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I think you're real smart. Could you explain to our audience what that word discretionary means?
Oh, good.
Oh, very good. That's a very good one. This is money, ladies and gentlemen. This is money you don't need for bills. Bottom line, if I could say it like that. It's money that you can just keep in the house, keep in your wallet. You can walk around with it for weeks and you may forget it's even there. But it's money you don't need to sustain your level of living, if you will, or your standard of living, if you will. So it has to be an extra 500, extra 1,000, extra 2,000, whatever that you can have just sitting. I guess it's called what we call rainy day money, right? Probably if you
Play money.
Yeah, play money, rainy day money. Yeah, exactly, Maxine. So that's
Play money,
discretionary.
right? That's all I was thinking. Play money, right?
Yeah, exactly. I remember years ago, folks, Mama used to send you some money. That was discretionary money. You just spend it whatever you want.
Yeah, well, that day has come and gone.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to get there and earn that money and give her some.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next story. We're going to be talking about Facebook. All right, and what's going on with Facebook and the accounts, and we're going to throw that one over to Vicky.
I popped away without unmuting myself. Rookie mistake. It's a rookie mistake.
That's all right.
All right. So with Facebook, now this is something that I didn't realize that you could do. Now, previously, I don't know if y'all know this, if you try to delete an account on Facebook, you're not really able to delete your account, or at least that was the case. But this new story from Forbes has recently said that it's actually giving you a step-by-step account on how to delete your Facebook on a browser or an iPhone. And so this caught me off guard. And is new to me, but because of the privacy scandals, there was a data leak pretty recently of about 500 million user details. And so now, finally, because of that and because of our, cybersecurity and safety, they are now allowing us to get rid of, permanently delete. But of course, there's a month for, period where if you want to change your mind, come back to Facebook, they're going to let you have that opportunity, of course. But this is a permanent delete, which I'm really excited about because, I'm worried about, what does my MySpace from middle school look like? What is that like, in 2021, right?
Yeah.
So this is important. I'm excited to see that we can finally delete our profiles if we choose to.
All right. So let's take it to the Congress. Congress, what are your thoughts on that issue?
No. Because what about Instagram? What about Messenger? What? Come on now. Because if you're not on Facebook, he owns other stuff that you on. Okay, Vicky, you sit there for that 30 days, and
you'll be back.
They're gonna get you, girl.
Might be 30.
They're gonna get you.
That's the thing about having a signature on the internet, because Vicky's right. the ability to delete an account and feel safer is a great feeling. But the reality is your information is still out there. And these companies have tentacles. You know, they are really like, I was trying to, like the movie Avengers. What were they called? What was that group that was,
Octo something.
What was it?
Octo was it?
Yeah, whoever they were. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Or something.
All right, Telly, what do you got?
This is interesting because I always thought, well, I'll back it up. I mean, I knew that you could like delete your account, but I didn't know that they had to kind of essentially tweak some things. And you're right that your information is always out there. Because one time I just Googled my name, not that I think much will pop up, but like if you go to the images, and for me, I'm on YouTube all the time. And so I'm constantly liking videos. And when I go to the images, it brings up things that I've liked on Pinterest, on YouTube. I'm like, Big Brother is serious out here. Like, I didn't realize, the implications of really having social media accounts. And that's probably why I don't like them anyway. But this is very interesting to me.
And see, that's your digital signature. That's what you've been putting out for years.
Yes.
It is what algorithms use to deliver ads to you. And that's the information that's sold to companies too. And because until there's a company that can scrub, and that company will be $1 billion company, that can actually go in and scrub everywhere you've been and clean it off. We're going to have that happen from time to time. All right, who's next?
That's a good point, Stephen. It's the fact that you have to scrub. So you delete yourself off of the Facebook on the internet, but then it's on your iPhone. So you got to go to your iPhone. And then when you delete that, you got to worry about the apps. You got to delete that. You got Messenger. You got to make sure that's deleted. You have, and then WhatsApp. WhatsApp is on a different platform, although it is a part of Facebook, but it's a separate platform. So, there's so many things that you have to take into consideration. So really, is delete really delete?
No, delete is just making you feel like you're doing something.
Right. Exactly.
But it's okay. We are the middle class. We know that some of those technology companies, they have their tentacles in places we can't reach right now. But that's all right. We're about to get our power back.
I know.
Just hold tight.
But there's another step that you need to take before you decide you want to delete. That means remove all your pictures, any posts that you have. You need to make sure that you download all of that valuable information that you put out there, because if delete is delete, that means you will not have access to it.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right, who else has who wants to chime in on this?
Yeah, I wanted to share. Go ahead, Adrian. Go ahead, hon.
Kevin, you got it.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted to share some information here to the network as well. Now, everything on the planet, if you're familiar with IP is the internet protocol for the whole network, okay, around the globe. Everything has an address, right? Everything has an address. And all it is, just to break it down, is a telephone number to that address. All it is strictly a telephone number. It's dialing in, dialing out, dialing in at very high rates. So the first thing, so when I dial, or when I go to something like Facebook, they have their IP address, right? I'm in their IP address now. Even though I deleted on my side, it's still inside their system. So it may or may not totally go away, but I want to make sure everybody understands that when you make a telephone call via the internet, it's going to be on the other side of that call forever, unless they decide to get rid of it, from that perspective. So I want to make sure people understood that's just the basics of how that works. So it may or may not, most cases, it'll still be on somebody's server or somebody's computer in the system. So be aware of that.
All right, so we're going to go to Adrian, then Tanya.
I just think it's hilarious how after all of these breaches and everybody got all the information and they done did it already. They done passed it around 16,000 times. Now, they go send us an article and tell us how we can delete it. Are you kidding me? Like, after a while, it seems like, okay, I am done with the middle class. I got to get out of here, because it seems as if you keep giving me news that don't seem like it's news, but then you want me to wipe it all over my face. Like, this is just great. Oh, I can delete it now. You got every single information. Not only did you get my information, but then you take your friends' other friends on Facebook and then just get all types of people. Like, they should be ashamed of themselves. The whole daggone thing should be deleted for a little bit. They should be on punishment. They should be gone from us. Not that because we was fine with Facebook. Facebook never did nothing wrong with me. Got all my friends from elementary school from Facebook. Then you got people in there talking about something. You need money. What? I don't even know you. So I'm just glad that we had an opportunity to even bring it on to the People's Congress, because guess what? People is sick of this stuff. But like you said, how you gonna get rid of Facebook without getting rid of the rest of your life? Because that digital signature, the way that they got it hooked up, is that you need one to have the other. Because if you don't have the one, then the other one don't work. But then when you realize that you get rid of Facebook and then you have no messenger, you have no calls. Because then you get the message that says, ding, someone's trying to get in touch with you. But because you don't have Messenger, you need to download Messenger to hear what the message is. So then you're going to be stuck. And then you're going to be like, I'm glad I got 30 days, because you can only last 10 without getting your messages.
All right. This Maxine moment brought to you by Adrian out of Philadelphia. Facebook, you have gotten your beating and your sentence. You are now on punishment. Consider yourself told. Come on now. That's all right. All right. So, Tanya, what you got?
Look, when I read this article, I was like a little offended, because I was like, okay, we could delete Facebook. All right. And then when I started reading further down, I'm like, wait a minute. How are they going to tell us we can delete it and then tell me you got this app and this app? I got that too. I got that. I got that. I got that. If you delete that, then you're going to be, like Adrian was saying, like, I've done it before. I've deactivated my account, and then I'm looking like you got this message sitting, but you ain't going to be able to hear it, like she said, because you don't have it no more. So I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, well, should I get back in? I got to get back in it in order to hear it. So I'm like, they need to stop with that. You can delete it, but then, by the way, you got all these other apps, because when you sign in, I know when I sign into StreamYard, when I sign into anything else, it connects. It says you don't even have to put in a username and password. You can connect through Facebook. And I'm like, oh, really? So come on now, Facebook, really? You can delete that, but then you're going to lose everything else. Like, who has time to remember all them passwords for all the different apps you got? So that's why they have it where you can hook it into Facebook, so you don't got to remember all those passwords and usernames. They need to stop it.
Wow. Y'all done got West Virginia fired up. Tanya, Congresswoman Tanya.
They need to stop it. They make it convenient, and then they're gonna do that. Like, stop it, stop.
You know you done messed up when Tanya get fired up. You in trouble, Facebook. You better watch out. Watch your back. Watch your back.
Oh, hey, Stephen, this is another one of those cases where as they are slowly creeping in.
Okay.
That's exactly another one of these situations. If you sit and think about all these subjects that we've been talking about, it's always they do a little bit at a time, and now they're giving you the illusion that you can delete, but you really can't delete because they have you tied to so many other things. Just like Tanya just said, you're using Facebook to log into 15 other different applications or other sites and so forth, so you don't have to remember all these passwords. You will always be indebted to Facebook.
Absolutely. This ain't no creeping, Maxine. This is a force feed.
All right. So look, we're gonna let that one go. I think Facebook's been beat enough by both mamas up in the house. I mean, goodness gracious. All right, so we're gonna talk about the top 50 most valuable global brands. Get ready for this. Middle class, you're gonna have to listen through the story now. We got some good facts we want to share with you, and we are going to throw it to Kevin. Lead it off.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start off. First of all, I want you to take away something that we can figure out how to solve. Okay, that's the first thing. We're going to talk about this area. I'm not going to talk about all 50 companies, but the article, ladies and gentlemen, starts off with top 50 global brands around the world. And I'm going to read them real quickly to you because most of you know most of them already. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Samsung, Coca-Cola, Toyota, Mercedes, and McDonald's and Disney. Those are the top ones that I'm going to share with you, the top 10 tonight. But real quickly, ladies and gentlemen, for many of these brands, there has been a devastating year, to say the least, for some of these. Over half and the most valuable global brands have experienced a decline in their brand value. Interesting, huh? A measure that takes financial projections, brand roles, purchase decisions, strengthening against the competitor, and into consideration. But where some have faltered Others have asserted their dominance and stepped up for their customers like never before. We've seen some of that, right? Like Amazon, for example. Last but not least, who are the heavy hitters with an eye-opening and warding brand value of $323 billion? Apple is the most valuable global brand in the world. Wow, I think you all knew that already. Followed closely by Amazon, which we knew in second place, and Microsoft in third. Average growth brand across the globe reached tech areas about for 2020 was roughly 50%. So there was a decline in these global giants, about 50% in the system. So we wanted to talk about why would that happen? Why could it happen? And I think we know, but we also want to look for solutions, because guess what? They're going to have to come back to some more 50% greater. They're going to look at that. They're looking at that now. So our goal is to figure out how we can capitalize and be part of their growth as they move forward, ladies and gentlemen. Powerful area.
All right, Telly, what are your thoughts on that?
There were a lot of great things in that article. And actually, they brought up 3 ways to build economic resilience and thrive in today's world. And it was leadership, engagement, and relevance. And I really felt that those 3 things could be applied to our individual lives. As business owners in the marketplace, we should all practice those, among other things, to be able to engage the public, engage everyone.
I was looking at it and I was thinking, well, wait a minute. Where's the stuff that I deal with? Because sometimes you kind of put yourself in a situation where you say, okay, like Kev just said, you want to be hooked up with the brand that is actually doing that good thing. So now my question is, so because of my new book, if I put my book on Amazon and then say, okay, it's going through Google, and then let's say it's going to be like on Apple Play, but that be like me inserting myself into where these people are on the realms of this 50 branding? Is that what you're talking about, Kev?
Yeah, that's the thing, and Maxine knows about this as well. It's a strategy. See, you have to be able to follow the trend of the company, which way they're going, and also what they're trying to get back into. For example, they may want to expand another market. We'll just say Japan, for example. They may want to get into the Japan market. So you got to be able to monetize that in a certain way. So the goal is to track these companies and get some news on them and analyze that, get with the Maxines, get with the Stevens and the drones and all our team. And of course, Brother Antonio, I would even ask him about some things in that area as well, and see what the trends are, and then be able to inject your books, inject your investments, inject your ideas. Because keep in mind, they're going to also need contractors, right? Some cases, they need contractors for these cities. They need your business skills. You can bid on certain parts of the business that they're looking for as well. So it's so much there for us, but we have to pay attention to that so we can infuse our talents and business into their growth on top of that as well.
All right, we're talking about the top 50 most valuable global brands, and I was so worried that Kevin was going to read that entire list.
No.
Thank you so much, my brother, for keeping it down to 10. We do appreciate you. We love you. Much love. All right, so does anybody have anything else on the top 50 brands before we move on? Maxine, you got it.
Yeah, Stephen, one of the things that it talked about was, how did Apple manage to stay on top during this global pandemic? And it went on to say that because they focused on the product and the consumer. And they also looked at what is the impact that they're having on the planet, as well as managing the carbon in a negative way by 2030. So they put that strategic plan in place, just like what Kevin was talking about. When we start researching and find out what are these companies doing, and are their values our values, sustainability, social responsibility, so we have to look at all of those things when we are investing in these companies or putting our dollars and spending our dollars with these companies. We also talk about trying to make sure that we have those dollars going around in our community. So there's some other things we need to be taken into consideration when we're looking at these 50 valuable global brands, so that we can become one of those global brands.
Come on now. That's what we're talking about. If you're just tuning in, we are the People's Congress, where we help you get educated middle class so that you can be empowered to share this information with other people. It's not just about you. It's about empowering the whole community. Because remember, a rising tide lifts all ships. That's what we do here at the People's Congress. And we'd like to thank Mexit, the Middle Class Exit, and ATS for all the love they're giving us here on the network. All right, so let's go ahead and move to Adrian. Adrian, I hear something is going on with cryptocurrency. What's going on?
Well, everything is going on with the crypto. It's going in, it's going out. I'm gonna talk about Silicon Valley though. Silicon Valley, the super angel, the investor's name is Ron Conway. You know, he actually says that within the next, he just says that basically the crypto economy is the next multi-trillion-billion-dollar opportunity.
Okay.
So with everything that we're learning about crypto, and we keep hearing it every day, more and more and more, basically what Ron Conway is saying is that any way that you can get in, you need to get in. Why? Because this is it. Like, it's the future outlook, and everything is going into the crypto. It says basically, it was like, how do I say? I want to wrap his thing up because basically he just raved and raved about how crypto is really just making everything better. Like, you can do it from Facebook, from Twitter, from Reddit. When you read all of the information, everybody's coming back with the same thing. And they're saying that it's doubling, it's tripling. It might drop a little, but it doesn't go, it hasn't been something that everyone is jumping off of. They're saying that this is the new ecosystem. The new economy is definitely coming with the cryptos.
Okay, so middle class, let's break it down for the middle class. Let's simplify this thing, all right? So middle class, if you're looking to go outside and you feel a drop of rain, that means the rain is coming. So you need to go in and get what? Your umbrella. You need to get protected. You need to know what's going on. And when you go outside, it's raining crypto coins. So you better carry some buckets so you can catch some of that stuff. Now, this is your homework assignment. Now, we care about you. All our Congress people care about everywhere all our people are. So all across America, all across the world, actually, we want you to start studying what cryptocurrency is. You got to get educated. And ATS has some things for you to get educated. We want to make sure that you get connected with us and get that information. And we'll have some stuff in the show notes that will help you guys know where that is within ATS. But look, we're not here just to talk. We're here to educate, empower, and we're going to take it to our constituents. Let's talk about it. Cryptocurrency, the new multi-trillion-dollar industry. What are your thoughts?
I have a comment.
All right, go.
One of the things that I learned from Antonio, and he's the CEO of ATS, is that, and this goes not only for cryptocurrency, but this also goes for the internet as well, is that the government is against both. And the reason why they're against it is because they can't control it. And if they can't control it, guess what that means? They can't get their cut. Because if they can control it, that means they get theirs. The way it's set up right now, you have the power. The middle class, the top 3%, they have the power. And the government doesn't want you to have that power without getting their cut. So I would say I agree with Stephen, is that we need to do our homework, we need to do our research, and not just go out there and like a head of lettuce, but find out what's really, really going on and make sure we're positioned so that as things open up and as we become educated, then we'll know where to position and place ourselves. Because a lot of the folks out there who have that money out there, we're talking about the top 3%, they're well invested in cryptocurrency, folks. They are, because they know it's the way of the future. And the central banks do not have control over the cryptocurrency. They do not. It is set up in such a way that it's almost impossible to get into and to fraud and all of that. So guess what? The smart people out there with their money saying, if nobody can break into this, if nobody can steal this, that's where I want my investment. That's where I want my money at. And if I got to pay a little extra for it, that's okay. But at least it'll be mine versus somebody breaking in and hacking in and taking what's, I got to keep mine. So I just wanted to share that collectively with our group as well as with our audience, that's one of the reasons why the government is against the internet as well as cryptocurrency because they don't have control over it.
All right,
power,
so it is
more power to the people.
it is a gravy train. Do not let this gravy train pass you by because you'll be left with what? Dry meats. You better get in on it. All right, here we go, Adrian. What you got?
Because, okay, you guys in this dry meat, this is just see. What I
Hey,
was
we don't
gonna
want the middle
say
class eating dry meat when they can have gravy on that bad boy. Come on now.
they need it. Come on, you better have something. You want something, and it need to be tender, nice and
Let's
tender.
go. That's what I'm talking about.
So what I wanted to say is that we need to know about the crypto. We need to find out about it. And they have this thing, it's called Coinbase. So now Coinbase is how, I guess, they look at Coinbase like the world looks at Google.
Okay.
You know how they say, hey, Google, what is so-and-so, or how can I? So Coinbase must be where you can get the ins and the outs on the crypto. On what's going on in the world. So as we're sitting there and we're saying, learn this and learn that, learn this, it seems like you need to know about Coinbase because I'm new to Google. But if Coinbase is like Google,
I'm gonna throw it to Kevin. Kevin, what's Coinbase? Coinbase. Did you do a little research for us? Unmute. You gotta unmute. Wait a minute. You gotta unmute.
Yeah, I'm sitting here doing some research here while you was talking, Adrian. Excuse me for being on mute there. But that Coinbase is powerful, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a database actually is going to give you the actual information, as Adrian was talking about, on what the price is, what the change is, the chart, and the trade. And so you can literally look at all these wonderful opportunities here. It even tells you how you can earn $36 worth of crypto on that particular Coinbase. So Coinbase.com, ladies and gentlemen, is a good start to start your education and training, but it'll give you manage your portfolio. It'll help you to look at reoccurring buys. It'll talk about vault protection where you can protect some of your money. But the biggest thing is it gives you a one-stop shop to give you an overview of all the cryptocurrency that's available on the network. Incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Coinbase.com.
All right. And they're going to have to pay us a little bit of money for pumping them up.
Yeah.
They didn't pay for that commercial.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to be coming at you, Coinbase. Get your checkbook out.
Yep.
Or crypto coins out. We're going to get some. All right. So any further thoughts on that before we move on?
Yes, I do.
What you got, Queen?
An audience, aka my mother, and she has it downloaded on her phone, and she wanted to make sure she let you know she's paying attention.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mama Queen. Appreciate that. All right. So we're gonna have Kelly's mom on the show one day. We definitely gonna have her do our crypto show. So just get ready, Mama. We coming your way too. All right. Does anybody else have anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention real quick because Jerome mentioned it. Antonio Smith mentioned something real powerful and brilliant. You have to ask the right questions, ladies and gentlemen, to the right people.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to find the person like Stephen and Jerome and of course Antonio. But we want to find the people that know what you're talking about in this area. Ask the right question. I don't care if you got to find a billionaire or a millionaire or a thousandaire. Anybody who's making more money than I do and you making money, I want to at least ask the right question. And that's what I want y'all to get to. Ask questions. Find out what they did exactly. Matter of fact, I would even ask them, can I be your mentee on this area?
I like that. Hey, look, if you come my way, make sure you bring your checkbook because I don't do counseling for free.
Exactly.
So you're going to have to pay me. This is free right here. But when we get on the phone, that's you're going to pay for that. Yes, all right. Sir. So I appreciate the plug. All right. So let's move on. And I want to talk about the next story is destroying 97% of the earth. Humans have destroyed 97% of the earth's ecosystems. All right. And we're going to throw that one to Vicky. We're going to lead off with Vicky, and then we'll go to Jerome, then Adrian.
All right. Yeah, I know this was a really popular one for a lot of us this evening. And so essentially, this report came out that said that only 3% of land on Earth still qualifies as ecologically intact. Quoted from the article. And so that means undisturbed habitats, healthy populations for like the original animal inhabitants, the original plant life there. And so previous studies kind of show that it was more like 20 to 40% of land was still intact, but now we know that it's actually much, much less than that. And so this is a pretty alarming situation. And so I'd love to hear, what we think about this.
Well, I first started off with a little chuckle. 3% is still intact. I'm sure it's way bigger than that. The Earth is a pretty big place. If you get in a plane and just go up and look at it, you can tell how huge our Earth really is. And I'm sure they're talking about, it says humans have destroyed 97% of Earth's ecosystem. I'd have to see the data on that really because that's a lot. That's almost like 100% of the Earth's ecosystem is destroyed. So, I mean, if they're talking about the ability, and maybe you can shed some light on this, Vicky. I'm not sure if the article talked about it, but maybe they're saying that the ability of for humans to create things that touch parts of the Earth, like chlorofluorocarbons that destroy the ozone layer, for example. We know that when we put chemicals in the air, it travels around the globe. And so 97% of the globe is impacted by that. Maybe that's kind of the thought there. But when you look at the Earth itself, not just our atmosphere, there's places on the Earth we still haven't touched. I mean, the Earth is huge, inside and out. I mean, there's places all over the Earth that has not been touched, and actually that is unreachable. So because of different climate issues. But anyway, so I want to take it to the Congress. I want to have you guys talk about it and give us your thoughts on that.
Please save Mother Earth. Please save Mother Earth. Whatever you got to do. But seriously, guys, I think it's about, and I think Stephen hit it right on the head. We have to quantify that, right? We have to figure out what part are they talking about on the planet, because there's so many components to the planet. So you're absolutely right on that area. So we really have to understand that, first of all, we got to be responsible, right, for our own planet, no doubt about that. And we got to understand who's in charge. We got to understand regulations a little bit. And obviously, we're not going to do all of that. But it's so important. Again, I go back to that learning, right? We got to learn. We got to ask questions. We got to find out what are they doing? What are they not doing? What is our city doing with our garbage, for example? What are they doing with the sewer system? I don't know all of that, but I'm just saying we can ask those questions in that area. So yeah, Vicky, we got to figure it out, but we got to ask questions, because if we continue to let people do stuff, they're going to keep doing it. But if I don't know they're doing it, it's going to be too late when I find out.
You know, it's interesting you say that. You remind me of a very wise agent I once listened to, and I'll just call his name Agent Smith. He was in a movie you guys might be familiar with. He actually said that humans are like a virus, where all organisms on the earth finds an equilibrium in its environment so it can maintain it. Humans are the only one that consumes and destroys its environment. For those of you who don't know and aren't up on Agent Smith, he's in the movie Matrix. It's a true story. It's reality. All right. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I know that it did say that they were talking about the way that they evaluated it. They used 3 different criterias in order to evaluate whether or not it was still intact.
All right.
And from the 3 that they used, it was more so of the functionality of it. Like, how is it being used, or how is it being used as a resource, or is it just have like nothing but predators on it? So there's a lot of land basically, but it might not be, as they would consider for this article, I guess, the ecosystem, like something that would be used.
You know what? You make a good point, because now I can see it's talking about encroachment. So what area on earth have we not touched? For example, like the Amazon used to be a sacred place, nobody touched it. Now they're tearing down trees left and right. So just the fact that they touched it, it's impacting that ecosystem. So I can see kind of how they're getting that information together. And I can believe that, because one thing humans will do is, if you have stuff they need, they will destroy you to get it, no matter what part of the planet it is. So, all right, good point. Thank you for bringing clarity on that. Look, Philadelphia, Adrian is representing even medicated. She is pulling out these facts for you tonight. That's what I'm talking about, digging deep and working for her people. Appreciate that. Marquis, what you got, brother? Glad to see you back on the show.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but I'm back. So what I pulled out from this is it mentioned something about the introduction of invasive species. And a lot of times that happens when people do illegal shipment of illegal animals, and like alligators and whatnot, they'll flush them down the toilet when they get to be a certain size, and that then can destroy the local population. because some populations don't have natural predators. And then when you introduce that, you have a big problem. We've seen the government actually do that. They'll introduce, like the biggest thing that I've heard over the last few years was the introduction of mosquitoes into a population. Now, these mosquitoes, they're genetically modified. So if it gets out of hand, what do we have? I mean, it adds to this problem that we're talking about. So we have we have an issue, and some of that is just naturally occurring. Others is, they'll hitch a ride from overseas and come over. Perfect example from, if I can grab from my memory hole, here in North America didn't have flies until Europeans came over and brought them with them.
That makes sense. Yeah. And
So, I mean, it's something, I mean, something as simple as that can definitely affect the landscape. So I think anything is possible nowadays when you have a plane that can go from one side of the country, one side of the planet in 24 hours. It's crazy.
So there was a study done on that, the ecological impact of changing the environment based on the species that live there. So I know I just said a lot middle class, but let me break it down for you. So I was just trying to seem intelligent for a second. Let me act like myself again. Okay, so look, Yellowstone Park had wolves in it. And what happened was the wolves actually left the park. So wolves weren't traveling anymore. They were dying off and there was an issue. What happened was the grass grew, all of the things they were eating started getting overpopulated. They started eating all the natural resources. The river changed directions, like it bent a different direction. And they started seeing that. So what they did was, over, I think, probably a 20-year period, they reintroduced wolves back into the environment, and the environment balanced back out. I mean, that's an amazing thing when you think about it, because it's cause and effect, right? So that stuff is real, and it does have impact. Adrian, what were you saying?
I was just saying, wow.
Thank you.
I was giving you something. Like, I was just like, wow. I didn't realize my mic was. Look, I didn't realize I was not muted.
Oh, no, that's all right. That's all right. But this stuff is real, and it's sad when you see. Again, it's humans, man. It's sad when you see how they treat their homes, how they treat their communities, how they treat the natural resources around them. They'll go on a hike and throw cans and straws and trash and bears and stuff, eat that and get sick. And in the ocean is just a wreck, because so much waste gets dropped, not only just by us individually, but by corporations illegally dumping. And you'll see turtles and dolphins and just so many. I've actually seen the carcass of. Well, I'm not gonna gross you guys out, but they can. The fish will swallow what they see. So if you cut one open, they die because their intestines are full of junk and they can't digest that stuff. Yeah. And so there's a lot of issues there, and then there are corporations who are cutting their nets and dropping them into the ocean, and so sea life is getting caught up in the nets and drowning because they can't get back to the surface. So there's so many issues out there, and the ocean's a pretty big place. But when we can start seeing evidence of the ocean and animals being impacted by the waste we're dropping, if you see any, it's a much larger issue than you think, because that's just a small percentage of what's actually happening. And I did hear a story that one of the countries is about, and if I'm wrong, correct me, let me know. But one of the countries over in the east, I just say it's over in the east, is about to drop their nuclear waste into the ocean. And I'm not sure which one. I don't want to call it out, but anyway, so that's the kind of stuff that's happening. All right, so let's take it to the Congress. What do you guys think?
Hey guys, real quick, I wanted to ask a quick question, guys, about this. Now, I've got a new idea, right? I'm getting ready to give you guys a robot for your home that's going to take care of everything you need. It's a perfect robot. It's going to work well, and we want to sell this to everybody. What does that mean for the impact to the planet? Do I have to do an impact study before I sell this thing? Do I have to come up with an eco-ready robot? I mean, well, how is this going to affect our ideas, ladies and gentlemen? That's what I wanted to know. How is it going to affect my ideas? And if I have a good idea, how am I supposed to be responsible planet liver before I deliver that product to you?
Well, middle class, before you do that, I want you to do some research and watch the movie I, Robot. So don't be making no robots for nobody's houses, because we saw how that ended. So let's not go that direction. But yeah, economic impact studies.
That's not going to work for you.
Yeah, first
That is
robot we
not
get,
going
we're
to
gonna
be a
send
good
to Adrian and test it out. See if it survives.
Listen, come on in. Send them on down this way, because I'm gonna tell you now, because if it ain't right, it ain't gonna work. We're gonna put them in the system. He'll be canned food, dog food. You know, but I was thinking, this sits with me so in a different place, because we are so far removed from creation. You know, when you get down into why were we created, who created us, and what was it, the names are kind of like, it's almost a mute point when it comes down to the names. But the mere what we were supposed to do, care for the land. And then, we are in charge of this land. We are in charge of not only the land, but the animals and everything on it. But then yet to hear an article like this and say 97%, I'm like, Miss Maxine, like, now we just hearing about it today, but forget 45%. Now I can honestly say, and I remember in the 80s when they took away the Aquanet spray can and said it was doing something to the ozone. That was the first time I ever heard anybody doing anything to what we were doing. Now, 97%. Is that a human thing, or is that more spiritual that we just don't know where to come and where to go? Because it's all supposed to be from the land and the milk and the honey and the fruits and the berries. So if we messed all that up, what are we really saying?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's true, but there are countries like Singapore that if you drop food or something on the ground, you litter, you get arrested. Like, they don't play when it comes to taking care. I don't care if you're in the city or anywhere. They're going to take care of their land. So there are a lot of places that are fighting back against pollution, against you'll see videos of people who will walk right past the trash can and just drop it right on the ground. So that's the kind of stuff that we got to fight against. Telly, did you have something?
I did. I just wanted to see, like, what, as a group, what would we suggest as resolutions for the problems that we're seeing now? Like, I mean, we can obviously go with recycling. I know there was like this big thing where they started changing like straws from I don't know, plastic straws to paper, which I really
plant-based straws. Yeah,
I really don't like. I mean, I've seen the videos, with like the turtle, and I want to be into that. But what solutions do we have?
Come on, middle class. All right, the delegate from Long Island is challenging the rest of the Congress to come up with solutions for the middle class. We want to hear from you. All right, Vicky, what you got?
Well, actually, Stephen, you kind of gave a solution a little bit ago. And so what the article kind of says is, if you introduce like missing species back into that environment, even like a little bit of the species, like it says between like 1 or 5, species that have become extinct, it could actually like repair, the functionality of that environment, upwards of about 20%. And there's also like specific areas of the globe that we can, pay particular attention to. So places like Eastern Russia, Northern Canada, Alaska, the Amazon rainforest, the Sahara Desert, the Congo tropical forest. And so, like we were saying, places where we really haven't, seen too much, human, interaction, but because of our encroachment, our infrastructure, our industry, we've seen a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's good information there. All right. Anybody else have a solution?
Would a global government be necessary to handle something like this? Because everybody obviously is not on the same page, and it would seem that this is where we're going anyway. But would a global government make it better because you have one controlling system with one set of standards? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, right now you have other countries putting pressure on other countries for carbon emissions. But this stuff can be sometimes wrapped up in politics, and nothing gets done when it's wrapped up in politics. So what is the right thing? I mean, you would think the right thing is common sense, which it is, but you know, when you wrap it up in politics, common sense ain't common.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Good point. Anybody else? Maxine, what you got?
Well, I was thinking another angle. I was thinking about construction. Many times we own construction companies and we can sometimes be a part of the problem, and we need to maybe rethink. And also, as middle class, what about us challenging some of the areas in which they want to destroy? You know, taking it to our legislature, taking it to our congressmen, and having these conversations. So we have to sometimes get involved on that side of it. But again, that's educating ourselves on what's going on in our own environment, within our own states, or even within our own communities. So I was thinking about that. I like the fact that Marquis said global representation is what came to my mind. And then I'm like, we're always coming up with summits. So why not have a summit on this? You know,
All right. Hey,
so
that's an idea. We're going to have the People's Congress is going to have a summit on how to save the earth. I like that. I like that. You know what? We might just do a Zoom call with those who are interested and have a discussion, you know, take it to the people. And if you'd like to be a part of that, let us know. If you think that's a great idea coming from Maxine Phillips McCoy, let us know that you like that idea, and we will make that happen as part of our Mexit initiative to save your family. Will help save the earth around your feet. All right. So who else? Jerome, do you got something?
No.
Okay, I thought you was unmuted. Well, let me share something.
I'm messing with you, Steve. I'm messing with you. I do have something to say.
Man, don't do that.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
I was doing it to you.
Oh, hey,
You got it.
You alley-ooped it to me. No, you know, when we in America, I'm gonna speak about America, okay? And you know, we deny that global warming even exists. And I'm sitting there going, we don't respect our planet. We don't respect our environment. And until we recognize that this is the only earth that we have, you know, this is the only planet that we have, and we don't look out for it, then anything's possible. I love what Marquis was saying about something global, but he hit it right on the money. When it gets political, even with the UN, even with our things seem to always end up being political, and we just sweep it under the rug and wait for another year to go by. We're talking about the same thing, but things are getting worse. They're getting worse, and we don't get another planet. And I just think as human beings, we need to be more considerate in reference to what we do and what we produce and how we deal with it. Why? Because things are happening. I'm not a scientist, so I can't tell you what the result of this is going to be. But they tell me those plastics, it takes hundreds and hundreds of years for that stuff to degenerate and deteriorate, and it doesn't go anywhere, and it's still there. And guess what? Like you said, Stephen, we've got fish out there in the sea and animals out there, and that stuff is not digested in the system, and they're dead. And the sad part is we got folks out there fishing, and then and I love seafood, and it's on my plate, and guess what? I don't know what was in that fish, but that seafood tastes good.
Well, you know what? Some of us like pigs too. You don't want to talk about what they eat. All right, but look, check this out. This is a thought. Now I want to give you, and look, pig meat is sweet, so I let them eat what they want because I'm still gonna eat it. All right, so let's talk about solutions now. So this is what came to mind. All right, so we talked about the global issue, right? The global issue. Should there be a global government? I'd like to suggest the reverse of that. There should be a local group of people represented in every area, every state that does stuff without the government. We, the people, can take care of this. We don't need the government. We always look to the government to do something. If we want them to do it, they're going to do it their way, and it will not really benefit you as much as it could if you did it yourself. So you really had no room to complain about the government when you're not doing nothing. So we're going to take it out local, because that's why we even created the People's Congress. We are the middle class. We have the power. We the people. All right. So this is a part of us going through the Mexit process of understanding what to do. Now, this is the thought that I had. What if we motivated people with incentives to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem? What I mean by that, anyone that recycles, they get a tax cut. Anyone that recycles gets a benefit. They get a tax cut. Second thing, What if we took people who weren't doing nothing, who have nothing but time, retirees, young people, and especially during months like summer when they're out of school. And it was their job to clean their community and keep it clean every day, every week, every month. And they got a benefit. The things they like. The kids like to play video games. Well, they qualify for credits on video games with cards. Local businesses that are in the area who saw these people working out, maybe they would incentivize them with free food. On the days they're working, you get a free meal. Today's your day to work. I know you're on the schedule. Come on in when you finish. And I see that you got the thing checked off. Then you can come in here and you can get a free plate. So then the businesses are incentivizing those who need help. And how about this? How about the homeless people? Homeless people walk around all day looking for something to do. And they see all the problems. What if we hired them to clean our city for us, and the local people put money in a fund, GoFundMe or something like that, and we funded them to help clean up the city? You see what I'm saying? So there's solutions that we can create ourselves that impacts our community, and we can help incentivize that by being a part of the answer and not a part of the problem. So I want you guys to think through that. What do you think about those thoughts?
You would definitely have to do. I think that would work, because right now you have certain attitudes of, well, that's not my job right now. You know what I'm saying? And when you incentivize, it's everybody's jobs in. But right now, in dealing with a population like I mentioned earlier, when you do throw it to the government, it's their job. And then you have infiltrators of greed that will come in and do certain policies that will benefit them. And so they line their pockets. And at the end of the day, what really gets done? Nothing, but somebody got rich off of it. So right. Getting back to what you were saying, if you would put something hyper local like that, I believe that would actually fly higher than a kite.
Now, look, this is something I want to put out. This is another challenge. It's another challenge to the people's, from the People's Congress to the people. All right, middle class, I want you to listen. I want you to listen. We want to hear from you. Remember, this is the middle class exit. We want to hear ideas from you on how you would fix that problem in your community. And look, if we get some good ones, we might help make that happen for you in your city, in your area. Not making any promises, but I'm just saying, help be a part of the solution. We want to hear from you. Maxine, do you have something?
No, I'm just so thankful that when I said, let's start local and within our own community, and you just took it to, you just moved it forward. I thought, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
And so many different ways that they can be incentivized. You got the real estate, people trying to purchase homes, you got apartments, people who need to pay their rent. So there's so many different ways that they can help cut corners for these people who need the help. The pandemic has put a lot of us in a situation that we have found ourselves in. And if we're going to get something started, let's do it now. Let's not wait. They say, use what you have, start where you are, and do it now.
Come on now. That's what I'm talking about.
Forward with it.
Woo! This Brexit moment brought to you by Maxine Phillips McCoy. She be killing it with that stuff. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Anybody else have a thought? If not, I have a thought. Check this out. Kevin, did you have something?
Yeah, real quick, man. I tell you, just getting these juices going here on the ideas here, Brother Stephen and Sister Maxine and everyone. But real quick, I wrote down, we're going to have to develop what I call a planet scorecard, right? And then secondly, what we're going to do next is map the planet in the strategic areas that we're talking about, and then monitor that, and then monetize that, and fix that, and make sure it's staying in the right scorecard it's supposed to be. So if it's supposed to be 90% and it's dropping down at 88%, I'm going to be over there fixing that problem real quick.
Good. I like that. Hey, look, that's a great idea. As a matter of fact, there's an app that I am not giving any plugs to. You do not get free advertising. But there's an app where a guy has actually created, he's mapped the earth by 3 foot by 3 foot grids. So literally on the planet, somebody could be standing in one spot and they can type to you 3 words. It will go to the exact square on the earth and you'll know exactly where they're standing. The reason why he did it is because his son got lost, I think, and he had to figure out where he was at. And so that's the kind of technology you need. So anyway, he took a 3 foot by 3 foot grid, spread it around the earth, gave each square 3 words that identify what that square is. And now you can find anything. So we can use that technology. And on top of that, technology put something like you're talking about to create the scorecard. So look, these are ideas that we're talking about. Look, and what we want you to do, and we get this from Antonio T. Smith Jr. When you hear an idea, steal it. Look, use it. Look, it's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat. So if you hear an idea that you like, grab it and use it and let us know what you're doing with it. We want to celebrate you for getting involved and becoming active. That's what we're all about. That's what we're all about here. So anyway, so I see Rome's mic is unmuted. So brother, what you got?
No.
All righty then. So we're gonna move on to you guys know if your mic's unmuted, I'm gonna call on you. I mean, that's my signal.
I'm feeling great today. What I want to talk about is my favorite. Now I'm being facetious about the car insurance company, Geico. Mm. And the reason I want to speak about them is first of all, I am a member of Geico, so I'm not picking on them. But I was reading this article today where a company hacked into their system for over a month and stole up to 11 million people's driver's license numbers. And the thing that got me was, first of all, how did they not know for over a month that someone had breached them? And then they stole over 11 million. And as I was reading the article, it says if they sell you just the license number on the dark web, it's like $200, $400. But if they sell it with the rest of your information, it's $1,200. Okay, because you use your license as one of those things that companies use to identify you. And I'm sitting there saying, this is absolutely crazy. How could this go on? How could this happen? And I'm sitting, and I'm just finding this out today. So I have to make some phone calls and talk to some people because I keep sending my money to make sure that my car is safe to drive on the road. But who's out there using my driver's license number?
That's a good point. All right, Congress, what are your thoughts?
That sounds really, 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 really sketchy, etchy to me. I'm sorry. Now, you done took names. Facebook done took everything from you. Now, Geico, your ID, though. I mean, your ID is everything that you need. Like he says, that's like high commodity because that's almost like when the people are calling you and then you can't really hear what they're saying, but they're just recording your yeses and your nos.
Right. That's real.
Yes, no, like that's the one that's going along with the ID because it's like really they just need your identification and that really puts you through. So God, if they just took that, I'm like Marquis when they talk about they playing with our fear. And they just keep trying to tell everybody that we're being like, so that we don't believe that we're free. You know how there's a place in your mind where they can put you into a slavery because you believe that you are just under attack.
Yeah.
It seems like right now it's like they're just they're telling you that you need this technology because this is the new thing. But then the second that you buy into the technology, then we all have to then understand that now because you bought in, now you can be breached.
Wow, that's good.
It's like,
that is excellent. That is excellent. It's like not reading the fine print on a contract, ladies and gentlemen. You're not we don't always read. I don't always read the fine print, but later on I'm finding out, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, you didn't tell me that. Well, you signed the document.
And that's why they make that font the size of an inch and give you a whole stack of paragraphs to read because they know you are not reading all that information and they bet you're not going to read all that information. So there's really no protection. But let's talk about this issue right here. Something Marquis said while y'all was talking tripped me out because you talk about $1,200 for the whole package on the dark web. He talking about, can I sell my own information? All right, so let's go to Marquis.
Right.
What you got, brother?
Look. Middle class, upper middle, lower middle, lower. When somebody talking about $1,200, that's like a stimulus. I need $1,200. Where can I sign up?
You're gonna sign yourself up.
You got a credit score of 402. They
Well,
don't
you
want
did
you
that,
anyway.
Yeah,
They don't want you anyway. You know,
Would you say selling your stuff is more beneficial than your actual credit score?
you know,
It's low.
that credit score is hitting on 403. You sell your information. What they gonna do? They can't do any credit.
Don't give you the hookup, Marquis.
Wow.
Give you the hookup.
Marquis,
They're
he
about
about to go get
They're gonna
Geico
come
just
look
so
for
he
you.
can get
$1,200.
Yeah.
Dark web.
You
But the other
fraud
thing
to
too.
fraud. They're coming to get you.
But the other thing too that's bothersome about this, about the information, is that everybody's requiring you to use your social security number, and you shouldn't.
Mm.
And I don't know about you, but when I grew up, they said don't ever give out your social security number. And I
Right.
think at one time that was standard, but now I don't know what changed, but now everybody's requiring your social security number, and you should never give it out. But it happens. So when they actually get information, they going for the jugular. They getting all your stuff. That's why I was like, well, shoot, if you're gonna get it, I'm getting $1,200.
All right, so let's talk about the issue being that Geico knew about this breach, and we've heard these stories for years.
Yeah.
How there's these breaches, and some companies held the news that they got breached for a long time before telling the general public, and then it comes out that this happened, and it really tells you again. And we have a tendency to drift into this lane. People, I just want to know that you guys know we shifting lanes, because now we're going to talk about the system that's in place. These things show you there's a system in place, and the system oftentimes does not benefit us, the middle class, right? It affects us, right? So that's kind of the issue. And over 1 million people who are with Geico have now been affected by this breach. And there's other breaches that they have not shared with the public because they know it would be a public outcry. But you have to wonder about, why they're letting this happen over and over and over again. And oftentimes, the people who are what would be crazy is if Geico gets breached, next thing you know, they're selling you an upgrade on your policy for protection. You see, that's the kind of craziness that. Did you see Vicky's face? Ooh, she was like, tell them. But look, go ahead, Vicky. Yeah. So you just got to be careful. You got to protect yourself. You got to allow yourself to be educated. And there's some things, look, we know there's some things you don't have any control over. Right. You can try again to protect yourself, but we're inside of this system. It's like being a turtle inside of a cage. You only can move slowly around the boundaries that they give you. You only really can eat what they're giving you. It's not till you get out of the cage do you realize there's a world outside of that house you was trapped in, right? It's kind of like Finding Nemo. Remember when the fish got out and they was trapped in the plastic and they were rolling through the street. But the point is, once you hit the ocean, it's wide open. Yeah. It's wide open, and that's what we want the middle class to understand. There's a bigger world out here, and there's more choices you can make. And wouldn't it be beautiful if we didn't have to depend on all of these companies for everything that we need? Right. What if we could be self-sustaining as a community? There's a thought. What if there was a company that was specializing in creating its own ecosystem where our money was traveling between ourselves at least 18 times? I wonder what we could call that company. What do you guys think? ATS, exactly right. That's the company that we're talking about. ATS is making it happen, and we want you guys to know that's why we even have this show. The People's Congress came together because we are the middle class.
Stephen, we got to talk about this real quickly, guys. This is so important because I just did this recently. I want to encourage everybody, because if you have to rebuild, you have to have certain documents in your possession, okay, for any reason. So we're talking about make sure you get if you're married, get that license, marriage license, right? Get your birth certificate in your hand, not at wherever it's at, but get it in your hand. Get a copy of it certified in your hand. Any type of legal documents, you've got to have them in your safe or have them in your safe place at home for backup. That's worst case scenario. Also, too, Steve, I want to mention about a passport. How many people got a passport? Get a passport as another backup plan as well, for in case you have to rebuild your system, you'll have documents already in place, because it takes some time to get them when you need them. So I want to encourage folks to get those documents, guys, that you're going to need. You know, your birth certificate, maybe a photocopy of your license that you had, whatever, you know, definitely your marriage license and any other key documents. Have those in your possession, guys. Have them in your safe so you can back up yourself and not give you that heartache a little later on. Very, very important when we talk about data breaches, because people don't know who you are until you can prove who you are.
Good point. Good point. And that's also a good point to get you guys prepared for what's coming. You definitely want to start getting all your documentation together and securing it in a little lockbox or a safe if you have that, and have it ready when you need it. It's a very good point. All right, so we're going to take it to the middle class. Let's see, Maxine, what you got?
Well, my question is, why did they not notify you? You say you're just finding out because you read the article. So as a member and you're paying your money every month, there should be some stipulations or a protocol, or it should be governed by the state, you know, that they notify you that the breach has taken place. So that was my concern when you talked about it.
Here's an item I highlighted. It says, it doesn't appear that the company itself was the victim of a hack. Instead, Geico's investigation revealed that the attackers utilized credentials that were harvested from other sources.
All right, that's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Let me tell you something. All right, go ahead, Vicky. She said something.
I just said, what does that mean? I just said, what does that mean?
All right,
it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Break it down to you. All right, this is how it works. Somebody steals your stuff from me. What I'm going to say is almost like plausible deniability. Big word, plausible deniability. I didn't know it was happening. I'm just as mad as you are. Matter of fact, I'm mad at them, and it's their fault. We're going to figure out who did it, and we'll get back to you. That's what they said. That's like an okie doke. It is their responsibility to protect their information at every point of access. So there's no way they should get away with that. And actually, they're already planning, I'm sure, for a fallout from people leaving Geico. Like, look, they tripping. All the other insurance companies didn't get hacked that way. So they're probably gonna have a lot of people who are changing to another company, and they're gonna suffer for that. Maybe they'll learn their lesson from that. Marquis, what you got?
What about keeping your items in the cloud? Not to do it, to do it. I mean, I know for me, I'm thinking the cloud. I just send myself an email. It's in the cloud. So,
right.
and you know, to have it physically, that's what you need, of course. Mm-hmm. But I have sent myself my driver's license, insurance, and everything else. I sent myself in an email, because if I can't physically get it, I might be able to access it through the email. Right. And I've done that even for applications, for darn near everything. And as a matter of fact, when I was in transportation, when a beautiful, wonderful patrol officer comes to pull you over, and you don't have your documents physically, you can then pull it up and say, hey, I have a digital copy. Mm-hmm. And that's acceptable.
Okay. Well, that's good news. The question was posed was, did you have things in the cloud? And I think one of the things we got to remember is that our stuff is already in the cloud. Mm-hmm. Have you been to the doctor, the dentist, to a school? Mm-hmm. Have you been to DMV? Your stuff's already in the cloud. So don't be tripping. No, I ain't gonna put that in the cloud. Look, it's already in there. So let's get educated on that. The other thing too is you got to realize that, you know, once you say something, once you shoot a video on YouTube or TikTok, or all that stuff's out there forever. It's forever. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, people grow. You know, even I grew on the show because I said something crazy last show. I had to correct myself. I'm glad I did it in the same show. But we have to make sure that we are accountable for what we say and what we do, because you never know how somebody's going to use it. So you need to live and die by what you say and make sure that you know what you're talking about. That's what's important.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Tally, what do you got?
I mean, I guess tonight I just have a lot of questions. So then what is the next step for a consumer, so a customer of Geico? Like, if they have your driver's license information, do you hit up DMV? Well, you can't really hit up DMV because they don't answer their phone right now. Maybe you can send them an email, get a replacement ID. What do you do? Like, get a new license? I mean, because there's a data breach, like your information is compromised. Not that it's not compromised all over the web, but what would you do in this type of situation?
That's a good question. What is the next step? What do you guys think the next step is for the license situation? Should they go try and get a new license? You think that would be protection? What do you think?
Yeah, one of the first things I wanted to share real quickly is your existing documents that you have now, whether it's your IDs, of course, your driver's license. You need to take a photocopy of that. That's the first thing. take a photocopy and hide that or put it in your key documents. That's the first thing you got to do in that area, without a doubt. And of course, obviously, the next thing you got to get with the DMV, obviously, to find out what that background is, because you don't know what's in their database, right? Because of the breach. So you got to do that research. But the key, guys, and also Marquis, you mentioned earlier, is that hard copy, guys. You got to take hard copies of everything that you have for backup. And even your medical records and things like that. Get a hard copy of that for backup. You know, the key one. You don't have to get everything, but just the key things you need. Could be your family members, whatever. Just get the hard copy and back it up. Put it in your safe or strong box so you have it as evidence. If you have to go to court, you know, got to get a lawyer, you know, all that good stuff. The key is that documentation, guys. The cloud is great. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying your backup is going to be your hard copies, though, guys. If the cloud's available, your hard copies are going to be in your possession, and also part of your will, part of your estate planning. All that stuff can be there, and not the cloud, but the hard copy. Here's the hard copy right now. Cloud.
Good point.
Give me a few minutes.
That's a little retro for our millennials. They're not used to putting anything, printing anything out, or having hard copies. But take it from your elders. You better do it, because you know what?
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't print anything.
What'd you say, Vicky?
I said, no, I'm gonna be honest with that. I looked all shocked. No, I don't print anything. You're right.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, look, we learned today on this show, Marquis had a blackout. Brother got dropped out. You never know how quick things electronic will disappear, and you will not be able to access your stuff. So, Brother Kevin is correct. Look, middle class, we want to educate you. That's what we do. We are the People's Congress, and we want to empower you guys to know exactly the steps you need to take. If you have Geico and you were affected by this, blame it on Russia. They did it. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back and let's make sure that we cover this correctly. Is there anything else that the middle class can do in these types of situations? Once the Congress gets quiet, you know you're in trouble. All right, so middle class, you're on your own from here on out with that one. But we do want to hear from you. If you guys have a story that you want to share with us, if you have solutions for the middle class, let us know. Now, look, this is an announcement. You guys ready? This is an announcement. Everyone that's watching is a part of the People's Congress. You are a part of the People's Congress, and look, welcome to the show. All right, welcome to the show. You are a valuable member of the People's Congress. We anoint you right now for the state that you're in. Let us know your name. Let us know your state. Who knows? We might call you on the show. So look, or at least let people know that this is your question for your state, your area. We want to hear from you. We want to build our numbers out so that we don't need the government no more, because we, the people, are handling our own business. Brother Marquis, what you got?
You know, I was thinking about the hard copies and the security measures that you need to take for your hard copies. And some people just have a file cabinet. Some people have a drawer. Like, I keep a lot of crap in my desk. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. But I say all that because you want to be smart in how you secure your things. I'm a big security guy, but don't look at my desk. But I'm a big security guy. So what you want to do, you definitely want to get a firebox, something that's either padlocked or by combination, something that you can set in the fireplace and pull it out an hour later, and it's still functional.
So that's something you get from Walmart, from one of the big box lumber stores like HQ or something like that. Yep.
Yes, and you don't need to spend a lot of money on it. Just make sure the rating is proper on it, to where you it wouldn't hurt to have a GPS locator on it, because you never know. You might have to move quick. It might drop, and you might have to go back, circle back, and get it.
All right.
But the smart money is on securing your items. And can I get an amen?
Come on now. Amen. That's good. That's good. All right. So we're going to go to Tanya. Tanya, what's your next story? What do you got?
I have the story about the Bitcoin and how it plunged 10%. What? 10% plunged 10%. And a lot of people was, a little worried about that. And they said some of the main reasons was that some of the countries was thinking about pulling out. I believe India was one, and Turkey was believing about pulling out. So that's probably where the plunge came from. So people were worried about, it's a risk. It's a risk that you're taking when you put your money in it anyway. But people were, getting a little, antsy about it, about losing their money. But on the other hand, there was other companies that were actually growing from it and going to use Bitcoin, like Xbox. And I believe there was another company, PayPal, was we were able to start using payments with Bitcoin. So, the flip side, you got things that are happening, people pulling out, but at the same time, there's other companies that are using it for their advantage. So, the consumers are like, which would be us. I was worried about, should they put more money in? Should I keep my money there? Should I take it out? What y'all thoughts on the whole Bitcoin thing?
That's a good one. What are your thoughts? What do you got?
What I always wanted to know is, when you place $100 in any of these coins and then it drops, who's holding the money?
Well, it is electronic. So
well, it's not electronic coming out of my wallet.
Oh no, it got transferred into electronic. So who actually has your $100?
Well, let's say if I do, let's say Marquis coin. So I don't want to put nobody on the spot. If I put Marquis coin, if I throw $100 in a Marquis coin, somebody's holding the money. I know it's digital and it's showing that I hold coin, but somebody's holding the currency.
Yeah, that's good.
And when it slumps like that, who's still holding my currency?
Hey,
because it's showing that, hey, you now have $50. You had 100. Now you got 50.
I'll tell you who got the money. This is who got the money. It would be Marquis, because it's Marquis's coins. So the company has your cash. They just playing with your digital representation of that. So when it dips, they're not really being hurt. You the one being hurt. They got your cash. They good.
And that has always been my concern about the volatility of any digital currency. But there's some security measures to where other people can't jack you for your stuff, and that's something that you definitely have to take the class on, because that's some great information about the security of the coin and how to secure yourself.
The ATS school. Look, you got to go to our school. You got to get educated. You got to learn this stuff, because that's what's important. And you got to do this too. Whenever you invest any money, it has to be discretionary income. It has to be money that you could lose. Money that was sitting on your counter and you never use it anyway. You just say, you know what, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to go ahead and invest it and see what happens with it. It's money that you don't mind losing, that doesn't affect your bills. It doesn't affect your family, because, look, this isn't a game. This is reality. You need to know that if that money gets lost, it's gone. You don't complain it because you decided to jump into it. So, and the other thing, too, is to understand that the market is volatile. There's peaks and valleys, and it's cyclical over time. So if you really want to get into the game, watch the stock market and get a feel for how it goes up, how it goes down, what times, what stops, what's happening in the world that causes it to go up and down, the indicators, right? Learn the game. Like, you know what? And I tell you what's the problem with the middle class. It just hit me. Boom. It just hit me, people. You know what the problem is with the middle class? When we got the Monopoly game, we decided not to even follow the rules. We made our own rules. How many of y'all did that? Made your own rules for Monopoly. Man, we was supposed to give out $2,500. We were giving out $5,000, $10,000 to start out. We was big balling, fighting for Park Place. You know what I'm saying? So there are rules to this game that you can't play with. All right. So if you're gonna be in the game, learn the rules before you start. You know why we didn't learn the rules? Because none of us wanted to read. We didn't want to read all those rules. Why do you have a big old book for you to play a game? Look, just put the pieces on the board. We figure out why we play. Nope, that day is over, middle class. This is look. I'm trying to tell y'all, the ATS and Mexico, we're about educating people to come up out of that thinking. I myself have 3 different Monopoly games, 3 different kind of Monopoly games, and they never read the rules for none of them. So I'm speaking to myself too, right? So I'm gonna have to read the rules with my grandchildren here. So I want to raise them up right way.
Hey,
all right, Maxine, I love that look on your face, Maxine. What do you think?
I'm just sitting back here like, okay, you are so right, because we're out of the box thinkers. We're innovators. We're creative, and sometimes that's what you want. But then on the other hand, not everything we need to redo, or make it our way. But at the same token, that's where you start looking at strategies.
Yeah. You got to have it. You got to have it. And they laid out the rules for you. The rules is the track that you need to stay on so that you don't have an accident. That's what the whole purpose of the rules is. And if you don't play the game according to the rules, you done made up a whole new game. So that means the consequences is up to you. It's all on you.
And that brings up another, always, like you say, these little quotes I say. You have the ability to make the choice, but you don't control the consequences. And that's what we need to understand when we decide we're going to go down a different path than to follow the rules. However, I'm a firm believer you still need to be an out of the box thinker. Because I taught my encouraged my grandson because he loved to play the video games. And I'm like, well, did you like the strategy on this video game? And sometimes he said no. I said, then create a strategy and present it to the company.
Come on now.
But we have to allow them to still use their creativity and be innovative. We can't put them in a box because then everybody else got that group think.
Exactly right.
I'm going to say that you're doing that with the Monopoly game because that's the creativity of who you are.
Yeah.
And you can't stop that. You have to use it.
And if look, middle class, if you're thinking to yourself, that sounded really nice, Miss Maxine. She's so sweet. She always give good information. Baby, did you hear what she said? She said, just send it to the company. Look, let me tell y'all something. She's not playing. This is real. We're talking about real talk. We don't it's not fantasy stuff we talking about here. Do you know within ATS, we have a course you can take to learn how to get into gaming? So you got all these kids playing video games. Look, tell them, look, this is the new rule for our house. The amount of time you spend in that course at ATS learning that course, that's how much time you get to play on your video game today. So go to school. Let me see how long you've been on it. Okay, 35 minutes. All right, you got 35 minutes to play on your game. Go ahead, baby. You good. Put them out there. Challenge them and tie to the action step. This is what I want you to do. Make sure you get to ATS. Make sure you look at the programs we have, and then make your kids and make yourself sit down. I'm about to do this with my wife this week. This is what she told me. My wife's name is Jill. Hey, Jill. All right, look, this is what she said. She said, you know what, honey? I want to learn about this cryptocurrency. Now, of course, that shocked me because my wife, her mind doesn't go this direction, but she impressed me. She said, I want to learn how this stuff works. Everybody's talking about it. And I said, really? I said, you know what? We are members of ATS and we teach about cryptocurrency. I said, so I'm going to give you access to the account because you know what happens? My membership covers my entire family for all the courses. So now I give her my username and password, and now she gets to get in there and learn the thing that she wants to learn to help our family exit the middle class. That's what I'm talking about. It's about empowering people. That's what we want to do. And make sure you connect with us at the People's Congress and ATS. Get more information on the courses that we have to help your family out. All right. So does anybody else have anything on that subject? Go ahead, Maxine.
Let me say this one thing. Before I became a member of ATS, I would tell my grandson to write their strategy down and submit it to the company. But now that I'm a member of the ATS, the mindset changes. Instead of sending it to the company, you create your own game and you put your name on it. And let's get it marketed. Let's get you an entrepreneur. You become the entrepreneur. You start selling your own strategies. And, because it can be educational as well.
That's right. That's right. And look, you heard it first from Maxine. Stephen-opoly is coming out soon. I want everybody to buy it. All right, Adrian, what you got?
Wait, what's the name of the game? Stephen-opoly.
Stephen-opoly.
Well, see, I'm glad
there ain't nothing they can do about it because it's mine.
I'm glad I was going to make a comment on the Monopoly, so that it would run right into your game, because I guess we could switch it with your game.
Okay.
No, you touched the point when you said something about Monopoly is one of those games that has been here for generations. And I actually, it's funny how you say that people make their game up the way that they need to just make the game up within the group of who you are. It just reminds me, I have a cousin that is a whole entrepreneur. I mean, my cousin, you talk about it, she done thought about it, she had the idea, but we hated to play Monopoly with her because she, whatever in her mind was, she bought everything. So the same way she played that game as a kid, she still does this till this day. Like nobody wants to play with her because it's like she's She takes over the industry. Like, she knows how to do it. So when it comes down to a game, we might not have read the instructions, but for a lot of us, because we might not read, we kind of feel our way through it. And like when you get like one or two under your belt, it's like you know, you don't want to go to jail. You want to keep going, and you want to hopefully pick a chance card that will take you to the next, you know. So it's like we play that game, but a lot of us, like, I really did not like Monopoly, because maybe I like Steve Monopoly a little bit better, because maybe
Yeah, you
you'll give
will.
us more time to work with our purpose and our, you know, maybe you'll get us, instead
That's
of
what
just
we do.
buying up the market.
Hey, look, your cousin, you know what your cousin was? She was gangster when she was a child. That's what that was. She got on that board. She was like, you know what? I'm going to own this neighborhood. I'm going to buy it all, and y'all going to pay me. So she caught
She
on to that. But that's the
did.
kind of thing we need. We need people that thinks like that to help empower the whole group. Tanya, do you got something? All right. So we're going to move on to Kevin. Kevin, what you got, brother?
Hey, real quick, guys, I got to give you this one, man. You guys are awesome. You know that, man? Y'all, they just giving us all these ideas and stuff. But I want to encourage anybody. I'm just going to suggest this, guy. If you want to have some money for some cryptocurrency, want to have some money for some investments type thing, I want to encourage everybody to get $ play money only. $ play money only on your Cash App. Put that money in there, play with it, and keep it moving.
Okay, now I'm gonna make a little disclaimer right there. People, the Congress has no idea what Kevin just said. All of us is wondering what the $. What is that, Kevin?
Yeah, that's the Cash App prefix. That's the Cash App prefix.
Oh, you
$.
saying that's Cash App?
Yeah, Cash App. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Cash App. You want to set up a Cash App account to have some extra money so you can buy some of them coins to play with it. Now, just to play with it, learn.
Yeah.
So don't interrupt your money. You can go to your Cash App, $, just set up an account, $, play money only, and put it in there and play with it.
Now, I got you. All right, good.
Only.
You were scaring me for a second, because one thing we will not do is give out a Cash App on this show unless it's my Cash App. All right, let's get that straight.
Now,
All
can I
right,
add something?
yeah, go ahead, Marquis.
Yeah, when the problem that I had with Cash App, how I was introduced to Cash App, I was trying to send money for like a class reunion ticket or something to that effect. And I was trying to figure out, well, so how do I pay? Well, you pay with Cash App. I'm like, okay, how do I pay? With Cash App.
Well, you pay from your bank account.
What kind of Cash App?
Right. The names.
And I was like, what are you saying? And the girl on the phone got frustrated with me because she understood the language.
Gotcha.
I had no idea when you say Cash App. I'm like, which one?
Right, exactly. Good point.
You know,
nomenclature is important, people. You got to name a thing so the population don't get confused by what you named it. That's a very good point. Did you be able to make that transaction?
Once I figured out what the crap she was talking about, you know, and then I felt stupid. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I had one of those moments.
Yeah, and so now I live and die off that thing. But I've learned that when you say Cash App to people in the know, it's business as usual. But if you've never heard of it, you are absolutely lost, because you're like, which Cash App? Because I know that there's several.
So look, I had a situation when I was in advertising sales, and I was talking to an advertising agency. So I was just learning how to speak to them, because they big time. They got millions. So anyway, I was talking to them about advertising, and the lady said, I said, so let me get your fax number so I can, this back in the day now. So I said fax. Let me get your fax number so I can send you this information. She said, oh, no, go ahead and just email it to me. I said, oh, okay. What's your address? Email it to me. What's your address? So she tells me her address, and it's like her name. And then she said, at such and such. And I was like, okay, that didn't sound like a street. And I wrote it down. I said, okay, I'll do that. I hung up the phone. I was like, what in the world is she talking about? So I took it to my boss. I said, I asked her for her address. She gave me this weird thing. What is this? This is, look, God's honest truth. That's email. That's an email address. I'm like looking at I'm like, you're my manager. You should have been educating us that things have changed in the world. I should have known there was such a thing as an email. You got me looking stupid. I'm asking you to help me. You look at me like I should have known look, when things change, we got to educate each other on what's changing. Terminology is important. Email, I'm telling you, I still, even when he said that, I was like, so how do I get it to her? This is email. Because I can't put it in the mail. How do I email? It's a whole nother thing to learn, right? So the key is we must create bridges of understanding to those who need to understand. If they don't understand, just like we're doing with the People's Congress, we're educating and we're empowering you by the things we're now learning, because we're researching all these different subjects. We want to know what's going on, and we want you to know what's going on as well. All right, so we're going to go to Maxine. Maxine, what you got for us?
Okay, so I'm going to bring back Facebook.
All right.
And this time we're going to be talking about the Facebook Messenger, and users might be switching because, again, security reasons. And why? Because the encryption, what they call it, encryption is not there, is not being protected. And so it says over 1.3 billion people using Facebook Messenger. They might need to decide to switch to some alternative because of this. And I'm under the impression that it's private, because I remember someone sending me a password code or something in Messenger, but they sent me the login in another device so that the two would not be there together. And it's so good that they did that, because what? There's no encryption that's going on right now. So that brings you right back to, remember we talked about earlier about Facebook and being able to delete. So delete is never delete. So I thought that was very interesting. And it talks about Facebook had admitted to such security will not come to Messenger until sometime in 2022.
Ooh, all right. Wow. Facebook is getting it tonight. That's what, look, we don't care on the People's Congress. We don't care who you are. If you're doing business with the middle class in America, we're going to talk about you. And we're going to let people know what is going on. Matter of fact, Vicki, I heard something's going on with a senator in Virginia. What's happening with that senator?
Well, Senator Tim Kaine recently today in our military news reintroduced a bill to allow the Department of Virginia to prescribe medical marijuana to veterans. The Veterans Medical Marijuana Safe Harbor Act.
Okay, I got a lot I want to say about this, but first let me go to.
I'm not a vet.
And it's interesting you say that on the day, because 420 is a day that a lot of people talk about when it comes to marijuana. Won't tell you what that's all about, but anyway. So, what do you guys think about that? Let's go, Congress. Let's talk about it.
It's about time.
I just think that it's a really good idea. Yeah, I think that it's a really good idea, because what's going on right now in the whole medical world, there are so many opioid addictions and like hard hard drugs that they're saying that you can just take this and it might ease your pain, but then it ends you in a lifelong addiction that tears your family apart and all this other stuff, as opposed to saying, if you smoke a doobie,
Doobie doobie doo.
doobie, you'll be all right with doobie. Like, so, I mean, which doobie you be?
We don't encourage, we don't endorse the smoking of marijuana. We don't support smoking marijuana. These are just views, and it's medical marijuana
it's medical. I was going to say, you got to think, but now, and that's another thing. A lot of times when I speak, a lot of people don't understand it, but it's definitely medical. It definitely. But the medical cannabis has really changed. I can speak for myself. I used to take 15 pills 3 times a day. And I used to have to walk around like I was a zombie just because my body hurt. And they wanted me to be normal. So at the end of the day, I was okay. But no, I really wasn't okay. So when you asked me a question, I was so looped out of it. I wouldn't have told you a question. I'd rather, at least now I know that it's from the ground. It's from the earth. So at least you get a more grounded idea of what's going on, as opposed to some alienation of whatever.
Sure. I mean, many cultures actually use all natural remedies from the earth that doesn't have additives and things like that. And it's not something made in the lab, manufactured by chemicals that should not be in the human body. And so that's something that you definitely want to talk to your doctor about and see if there are any natural remedies for some of the ailments that you have, but also do research on your own. You want to make sure that you're doing your research to know about it. Marquis, what you got?
I'll tell you like this. I don't do marijuana. I don't like it or anything. However, there's benefit to it. And what was frustrating for me, just like Adrian was saying, there are people who needed this stuff. And because of politics or whatever the mess is, which is mostly politics, people who needed it couldn't get it. And that was a travesty. So on the medical side, I'm glad to see it. It's well overdue. It's about time. And I applaud the efforts of the people who made it possible so other people can at least get some measure of hope and healing.
Right. And for those of you who are looking at medical marijuana use, that's something that you can talk to your doctors about. They can prescribe it. It is being legalized all across America. And so that's something that a lot of people will get remedies from. But it's just, if you're going to do that, I just want to give you caution that you make sure you put that in a secure area, a lockbox with the padlock and the key to keep your kids from getting to it, small children from getting to it, even animals from getting to that, because that smell is something that the animals will pick up on. So just make sure that you protect your family. That's what's important if you're going to get that prescribed to you. So, all right. And if your kids start saying they're hungry all the time, just make sure that you know where their foods are. And don't let them, I just want to give it to you. Don't let them go over their uncle's and aunt's house if you know they might do it, be careful. All right. Because that's how I got, that's how it happened to me. All right. So, So anybody else have any? Tanya, did you have something?
On that subject, no.
I appreciate your honesty. All right. Look, and you guys know I call on whoever's unmuted. That's who I call on people. That's what I do. It looks to me like you want to say something. So I just call on you, give you an opportunity. Say if you're not going to speak, please.
No, I'm not going to. No.
All right. So let's move on. We're now right at the end of the show. Let's go around. We're going to go around and do our final stories. Tanya, do you have something?
Oh, I'm up. Okay. My final story is about the vaccine shots and how the blood clots and how they're finding it in the Johnson & Johnson and then the other shot. I can't remember the name right now. And how they put a hold on it. And they were thinking about releasing the hold and starting the shots again. But they were worried about this blood clot, which they should be worried about, this blood clot, because it's serious and you could actually, lose your life. And that's one of the big things that they were worried about. They say they were finding it in women. So it's mainly in the women right now, which, I'm one of those, and there's a few of us on here. So, just looking into that and just, some people, it's split, like the world's split right now about it. Some people are like, they're getting it. And other people's like, no, I'm gonna wait and see, because they don't have all the answers yet. They don't know, what the effects is going to be. So, everybody's like has their things on it. The good, there's pros and cons and to getting it and why not to get it. So,
Yeah. All right. So let's take it to the Congress. Let's take it to the Congress. What do you guys think? Oh, and I should make a disclaimer right here. We are not medical professionals, nor do we want to give you advice on what you should do or should not do. That is not our job. It is your job to get educated on your choices. All right. So when you speak, Congress, on this issue, you're speaking personally about yourself. All right. Now I want to take it to the Congress and get, and we will have medical professionals on both sides of the issue come in and give us more of a medical opinion. But right now, this is just the Congress and their individual opinions. Maxine, did you want to share?
Yes. I became very concerned when I heard that because my husband took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and he is a stroke victim, 25 years. And that really concerned me. And of course, I'm already leery about all of it. But when I read that article, I thought, oh my gracious. But I do know that we're practicing other things in order to make sure that his blood stays thin enough so that the clot is less likely that it will clot. But
right.
already experienced it, so he could be a victim of it. And so that I really became very concerned once I read that article, and I'm sure like a lot of other people are concerned. And then the thing about it is that what are symptoms? What are the symptoms? What do you get? What happens that that this is what's happening to your body? And I'm sure sometimes there aren't any symptoms. It just happens.
Yeah, and that's something you got to think about, fam. Look, when it comes to your family, you got to do the research. It's up to you. You got to weigh the pros and the cons, and you got to look at it, because a lot of the cons are pros, and you got to be careful. All right, so let's keep going. Who else got something? All right. Thank you.
A lot of the pros and cons. I like that. That was good. That was good.
Thank you. I slipped that one on in there. All right. Who else has something on that?
I have a comment.
All right.
And I'm not a medical authority. I'm just an everyday human being. But when I was reading this article, and it said that the majority of these clots were in younger women, my brain said, well, Jerome, in younger women, when they start having their menstrual period, which is once a month, they have to make blood platelets every month. So because they have to do that, we who are males don't have to do that every month. So maybe the fact that the body has to regenerate those blood platelets every month, this vaccine is coinciding with that, which is a medical issue. So I said, oh, well, maybe that's what my brain said. Not that it's a fact, not that that's what's going on, but that's what immediately went into my head in reference to it's mainly in those people. And I said, that's interesting. And I imagine some doctors are saying the same thing. But I said, I'm hoping that that's something they're checking into. And as a result of that, maybe they can devise another type of vaccine that won't clash with a woman's menstrual cycle.
That's all right. That's a good point. And I'm glad you led it off by saying you are not a medical professional. I hope you guys heard that. So don't be putting nothing nasty on the comments in the chats, because I will blow you up and kick you out. All right, next, don't be coming after our Congress. Don't do that. All right, so next person. Honey got choked up.
Now you did not really mean blow you up. That's just a figure of speech, correct?
No, blow up means inside of your message, I'm gonna give you a message that's gonna let you know you better never comment about the Congress in a negative way again, because we are protecting ourselves from that kind of craziness. All right. If you're a part of the Congress, you understand where we're coming from. Like we said, all of our viewers are a part of the Congress because we're looking for solutions to help your family. Now, we might say something that's not factual and you can correct us. That's fine. We're looking for that. But as far as people trolling and just wanting to be nasty and stuff, that's the kind of stuff we will not permit in our community. All right. So who else has something they want to share?
Hey, real quick, I got to mention this, guys. I am not a medical doctor when I tell you this. I am not a medical doctor. I have no background in medical doctor, or to say medicine or holistic, but I did get this information from people who are certified and licensed in this area. One thing they recommended, ladies and gentlemen, is to first of all, get your blood work done 100% through your doctor. Get your 100% blood work done. Find out where your levels are at and everything. Have that record on file, and then you're ready to go, because some people don't need certain things. Other people do. I am not a medical doctor. I do have some doctors in our network that are certified, and they recommend get your blood work done first, because you have to have a reference. Where am I at first? I did that for myself for my B12 deficiency. I didn't know what was going on, guys. Got my blood work done. B12 was low. Fixed the B12. Fired up now. But that's the point. The point is you got to get that reference. You got to know where you're at before you start taking all these vaccines. And again, I'm not a medical doctor, but before you start taking all this stuff, get your blood work done, figure out where you're at, and then decide with your doctor what to do next. Come on now.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this on up. I do want to share this. I'm not going to go through everybody's final stories. Just hold that for the next show, unless somebody has something they really want to share. I won't. Does anybody have anything they really want to share on their stories, or are we good?
Can I share my complaint?
No, I just wanted to say, they say eat extremely healthy. They say regardless of what you're doing with these shots, if you're on a thing that they have to take the 2, they say that second shot is the 1. You need to eat extremely healthy. cut
Good.
out
Good.
all of your side stuff.
That's good
That's
anyway.
the moment where you get all healthy, because I think that's the one where I've, like, anything that I've heard, it's because of the fact that you kind of just go on with your life like normal.
Yeah,
But
and
it's
like I said, we're going to bring in some
in that
medical
moment.
professionals to speak on that, so that we can make sure we're informing the audience correctly on that. But that's a good point, and I'm a little hesitant to even let Marquise get back and speak to the people because he got that look on his face. But Marquise, I'm gonna take a shot, man. I'm gonna give you a shot. What you got, man? What's your point?
Man, we all have a longing for dessert. And when you go to a certain place, you have it in your mouth. You're like, I'm going to get this. Y'all understand. You wait in the drive-thru 15 minutes. Get up to the machine and say, can I get a sundae? Can I get an ice cream cone, soft serve?
Don't work.
And they say, I'm sorry. The machine, like she said, the machine don't work. I sat here, lost 15 minutes of my life because I'll name them, McDonald's, they machines broke down and I don't appreciate it. And if I'm not mistaken, about maybe 6 to 9 months ago, I think they were supposed to have upgraded to where they wouldn't have these problems anymore. And yet, it seems like every time when I go down to this particular McDonald's, the daggone machine don't work. So I want to file a complaint to McDonald's because their ice cream machines is always jacked up. They should have a flag flown at half staff. They should, to let people know, don't even approach because the machine is down.
Even you knew better.
I mean, what about,
you knew better?
can I get a, like, hold up now. Krispy Kreme will let you know when the donuts are fresh. The hot sign is on. McDonald's should have a light that said, we ain't got no ice cream. Don't even come.
That's right.
So I'm going to submit my complaint to McDonald's, and daggone it, I'm going to send a light that they can use, and I will be a millionaire overnight.
Come on now, Marquise. That's right.
Look.
And so I'm going to end this because we needed to end on a high note. That's my high note, y'all.
You got it. Look, this Mexit moment brought to you by Marquise. I think you got the award tonight, brother. I'm gonna have to give you the Mexit award. There you go, Marquise. Everybody give him a hand. He ended it on a nice note. We'll get Tanya the final word, and we'll close this on out.
I was just gonna say, I used to work at McDonald's, and we used to say that machine didn't work. That's because we didn't want to clean it.
Oh, we know. We know.
It was hard to clean at night, so we would put a not working, so we didn't have to clean it at night when it was time to close. I just wanted to add that in there.
McDonald's, you heard it from one of your own employees. Get your people in check. The middle class needs their ice cream. Make sure you take care of our people.
That's how you know now. The next time they say that the machine is broke, everybody gonna kind of look at them side eye like.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm saying. Let me speak to the manager. Let me speak to the manager, sir, ma'am. Can you stand in front of this machine? All right, I'm gonna hit record on my phone. Can you tell me what's going on with your ice cream machine? It's broke. Oh, it's broke. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sending that to corporate right now. This manager said your ice cream machine is broke. You better come check it. It's been broke for a month. Get down here and fix this ice cream machine.
Okay, now listen.
It's always broke.
It's not like Wawa when they put the ice, they put the thing on the thing and said that the ice is out of order. What? If you just go past it and get the ice, like.
But you know what? But you know what ATS? You know what ATS teaches us, right?
All right, come on, Maxine, educate us. What we got?
Now it's time for you to create your own business making that ice cream.
Yeah.
What?
You don't have to worry about it being down anymore. It's always open.
Don't play.
Matter of fact, you could call it an always open ice cream. That's what it's called. Yeah, let's make that
soft serve, baby, the original. Now I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When I make my millions, I'm gonna retire as an ice cream man.
Hey,
look, doing soft serve like old school. You know how they used to cruise around the street. You're gonna see Big M on the side of the truck.
All I got to tell you, Marquis, is if you're gonna do it, we better never come in one of your establishments. That machine better never be broke, brother.
Oh, it won't be broken.
We coming for your throat. All right, good.
It will never be broken, brother.
Ice cream for free from the People's Congress, brought to you by Marquis. Free ice cream for life. We love that. All right, guys. Look, we're gonna go ahead and call it tonight. Thank you so much for watching tonight. We are the People's Congress. Adrian is still talking under me. She don't care. She's going to just keep talking. But look, we're going to close this show down. We love you guys. We want you to stay empowered. And just remember, with this kind of education coming from ATS and Mexit, you can't do nothing but be prosperous. Your family's going to be blessed. Just listen to what we say and do it, and you will be all right. Remember, the best is yet to come, and we will see you on the next show. Give it up. Give it up for a great show, everybody.